Hey folks, Brian Tremblay here. Thanks for tuning in. Just want to give you a reminder about my new album that is out, Songs for the Modern Cowboy. You can get that at my website, bryantmusic.com, and it will be linked here in the show page, so you can find that anywhere. And it's also available wherever you get your music digitally, except Amazon and Spotify. And don't forget my book, Heartbeats and Life Measures, the photography and lyrics of Brian Tremblay, is available to purchase also from my website, and it's been going really well, and I appreciate all your support on it very much. So thank you once again, and let's get on with the show. Hey, folks, and welcome to the Lonesome Cowboy Podcast. And another guest that rolls into me from the Ottawa Valley. I love the Ottawa Valley because you got a lot of great musicians down there and a lot of great people and a great community. And please welcome Basil Park to the show. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me. Basil, by the way.
Nice. I don't feel so bad now. I'm not the only guy with a big beard around here. You got me beat on that one, brother.
Well, took a couple of years and I had to lose a bunch of hair, but,
Yeah, hey.
sacrifices we make.
I find it migrates down from here down to there.
Yeah, that's just right.
So tell me the difference between your music and the stuff that you do with Honest Racket. It's almost, and the reason I tell you that is because it's almost like, woo, that's really different after listening to your stuff.
Yes. The main difference is that in Honest Racket, I get to have really good musicians involved. So Honest Racket is all of my songwriting.
Sure.
And then, the Basil Park stuff that I've released solo is at this point some older songs. The most recent release is some of the newer stuff, of course. But it's really fun and interesting for me to be able to bring stuff that I go, okay, this is good enough to bring to somebody. And then I have this incredible percussionist, Nimki Wemagwan. I have an unbelievable multi-instrumentalist and pedal steel player in Jeff Climo. And I get to bring stuff to them and kind of sit back and relax a little bit and go, you guys do what you do. And so the main difference is just having input from guys that I genuinely really love and respect and enjoy being around. And, we've been doing this for years at this point. So it all just feels like hanging out and making music with your friends,
That's cool. Excellent. I like it. Now, for the recording of your solo material, do you do that at home, or are you a commercial studio user?
So the most recent 4-track, suppose you'd call it an EP that I put out, that was all done at home, and that was actually done like literally sitting right here, single condenser microphone. I did the guitar and the vocals at the same time. Yeah. I did very little post-processing. It shows when you listen to it, but, sometimes perfect is the enemy of done. And if you've got a little too much process in there, it can be hard to just kind of put stuff out. And I was finding that I was getting a little involved in the perfectionism aspect and not doing anything.
Yeah,
so
I hear you.
Prior to that, I was working with a good friend of mine, Matthew James, and he was doing some of the production and stuff, and we were both and still are rank amateurs at all of it, but a little more directed, a little more pointed microphones and multiple takes and stitching some stuff. So I think I'll be moving towards the much more homebrew setup for the next little while, and hopefully just crank some stuff out.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I invested in the digital input and a couple of good condenser mics, and Long and McQuaid had a great sale on a pair of condenser mics, the little tiny ones for $25 a piece. They were rentals. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, and like there comes a point, right? Like it's
Yeah.
the old kind of adage where you're like, in the beginning you just point a 57 at it, you hope it sounds good. And then in
Yeah.
the middle you get into all of the compressors and the EQs, and then after a
Yeah.
certain point you kind of just point a 57 at it and you
Yeah,
hope
exactly.
it sounds good,
Yeah. And you know what? There's something to be said for that in that respect, because to me, it's lost in production, overproduction. You know what I mean? And somebody once said, and I don't know who said it. It might have been someone famous or whatever. But if the song's any good, it's going to sound just fine with an acoustic guitar all by itself, and it will with a big band. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
and that's the attitude, I think, which is what a lot of folk musicians like ourselves are doing. When I decided to do this, I thought, well, no, I'm not going to go the big band way. You know what I mean? I'm going to get the guys that I enjoy, like, Ramblin' Jack Elliott, and they never had any bands, Pete Seeger. So, hey, what the hell? Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, when there's nothing to hide behind, right? I think
Mhm.
it's always hard to talk about quality with respect to music and art and anything that you're doing as a means of passion or whatever, right? But like
Sure.
when there's nothing to hide behind, if the song is good, the song is good,
Yeah.
right? You can't dress it up and, hide it behind a bunch of production and reverb and whatever else to
Yeah.
insinuate it a little bit, so to speak, right?
Exactly.
It either works or it doesn't, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So you teach full time, Basil?
I do, yeah. So my Monday to Friday, so to speak, my 9 to 5, even though it's not 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I teach music privately. I pivoted to the online format. My God, a little over 6 years ago now. When that whole pandemic thing hit us all simultaneously.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then on the side, I also do a merch company with my aforementioned drummer, my friend
Neat.
Nim. So, t-shirts, sweaters, stickers, buttons, that whole rigmarole for
Yeah,
local
exactly.
bands and small businesses and
Good
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
What kind of, as far as music, is it just guitar, or do I see a keyboard there? Do you teach some of everything?
Yeah, so it is guitar, bass, ukulele, drums, piano.
Oh, wow,
I
cool.
always got to count on my fingers like a child because there's a couple of them in there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I would say the overwhelming bulk of it is
Yeah,
guitar, and then second would be piano, and then there's drums, bass, ukulele kind of mixed in there.
there you go.
But I I've said it before and I'll say it again. You can push one thing 5 miles, you can push 5 things 1 mile. So I certainly lose a little bit of quality on all of those instruments as a result of playing all of them. But I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just
Yeah,
fun.
and why not? Exactly. Yeah, that's fantastic that you're doing that. Um, we always talk about challenges and things we have to overcome with this 21st century music business. Um, what's some of the biggest challenges and or hurdles that you've had to encounter that have kind of stood in, oh, I don't know if we'll say stood in your way, but at least annoyed the living daylights out of you?
Oh, none of my challenges are related to the modern day at all. My own brain is my own worst enemy, right? And
Oh, I
so
get you. I get you.
I have a hard time setting up lights and cameras and pointing them at myself. It's are we speaking with respect to like the teaching business? Or are we talking about music
Music.
writing, music production, music in
Yeah,
general?
music and trying to make it in music in general.
Oh, fair. On that, like I've made it, man. Like I'm good,
Well, you
um,
know what? And there's our varying degrees of success in music, isn't there?
this is
You know,
exactly
and I
100% what I
mean,
mean. Yeah.
if you are teaching, you know, all the time, and then you do your music on top of it, you're doing what I'm doing, what I'd like to be doing.
Well, that's exactly it. And I don't mean to be flippant when I say like, oh,
No, no, not
I've
at
made
all.
it, I'm done here, right? But
Yeah,
that's exactly what you said is kind of exactly what I was thinking is there is a strange way that we define success in music,
Well
or I
said.
suppose the broader population defines success in music, where if you are not touring original music and selling out stadiums, then you haven't done it yet,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
But
It,
there's a whole history, a very long um tradition of what music is doing it because you want to do it, and you play with your friends and you learn something about an art form, and you learn something about yourself in the process, right? So it's the commercialization, right, that gets under your skin, and you start to think that unless you're doing this very specific thing, that's not success, right?
yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's just it, right? Because people will say, well, you know, when do you think you'll make it? Well, maybe I have made it already. You know what I mean? Because all I really want to do, when people say, well, would you make it? That's it. You know, it's the big thing is making it. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. But all I want to do is earn a living from my music.
Well, that's
And if,
I was about to ask.
yeah,
So, for your definition, like, what's something that you're doing that feels like it's there for you, and what's something that's kind of on the cusp, or what's something that you're looking at? Like, how do you look at it?
yeah, well, you know, again, I look at success just simply by the fact that if I can continue to get sponsors for my podcast, and I just started teaching, I teach mostly seniors guitar. And if I could get more and better gigs, which are coming, uh, that's success for me. You know, whether I'm a chart topper or a charter, period, I don't care. I just want to get some decent money from my music so I can make a living.
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely,
that's
right.
my big thing. Yeah. That's the way it works for me. So are you from the Ottawa area, Basil, or is that something you moved to?
Originally, no, but at this point, I've been here about half my life now. So,
Uh,
I moved from just outside Toronto. Came up here for journalism school when I was about 18.
yeah.
Went through that whole rigmarole, worked very briefly as a journalist, and then fairly swiftly determined that the newsroom was not for me and made my departure there. Went
Yeah,
back
no
to
kidding.
kitchen work, and then, turned turned into several other things from there, and now here we are. Dear God,
Good stuff.
18 years later.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you mentioned this earlier, 613 merch.
That's the
So
one, yeah.
that's the one. So, how's the merch business from the manufacturer end of things?
It's not too bad. We're certainly in our busy season right now. I just knocked
Yeah.
out 20 tote bags the other day for Libby and Cal, who you had on recently.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We did some t-shirts for Libby's singer-songwriter camp that she was doing. We've been doing some fairly large orders for an indigenous group called Bear Creek.
I think I've heard of
Uh,
them.
yeah, you may well have. I believe they were nominated for a Juno this year. They might have won
Yeah,
it. I
okay,
should
that's
know
where it
that.
was.
Yeah, so I mean, it started from a place of myself and Nim, the drummer that I mentioned before.
Mhm.
We're both musicians in our own right, doing our own things and doing things collectively, and we just found that when we were looking to get merch made, there were a bunch of minimum order quantities. You have to get 500 of this to get the price break. But somebody that's got, milk crates of CDs in their basement because they had to order 1,000 just to get, you know. Yeah, so we started figuring out how to do it ourselves, and then we figured out how to do it ourselves, and then we figured we can actually do this at a pretty good price point and get this out to bands and help them get some money in their pockets.
Yeah,
Ottawa doesn't
exactly.
quite get the reputation it deserves for being the music city that it is.
No
And so
kidding,
we're
it
just
should.
trying to get money into people's hands so that artists can keep doing cool shit. And it's been working
Yeah,
out so well so far.
that's awesome. Yeah, merch has always been a bone of contention for me, you know?
Okay.
I've tried T-shirts, thought I had a cool looking little design, had a couple done up, at a on-demand thing online
Yeah.
just to test the market. And if there's nothing more depressing than watching not a lot of people show up to your show, it's watching no one show up to your merch table. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And
There's
maybe you can give some professional advice in regards to merch. And that's my big thing is, t-shirts and koozies or whatever they're called for drinks and stuff like that. I know that's pretty standard and folks seem to be reordering them all the time, but um, how do you find merch that fits the artist or the music and that kind of thing? And I know that sounds kind of simplified, but like I said, for me, maybe CDs is all they'd pick up, and I could put together these little things that I had, key fobs and that kind of stuff. And, they were like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, the simple questions are often the good questions, right? I mean, you and
Okay.
I were having this discussion, I'm going to say maybe a month and a half ago, just very briefly, um, about you were saying, my crowd's an older crowd.
Yeah,
So what do I
exactly.
do with that, right? And so one of the things I was saying is like tie-dye sells like hotcakes when
Yeah, you
you're,
were saying,
50 and above, right?
yeah.
Um, One of the things that we're working on right now is I've gotten certified on a laser cutter and engraver.
Oh,
So,
CNC.
yeah,
Kind of. Kind
I
of.
don't know if it's exactly the same, but big old machine that I don't understand or feel comfortable operating, quite frankly. But
Cool.
we're looking at doing, like coasters out of various finishes of plywood, you
Nice.
know, quarter-inch sort of dimensional cut like that. We're
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at doing the leather patches for hats and stuff. But with respect to kind of what sells, right? It really is what's the market.
yeah, exactly.
Oh God, I sound like such a business person. I don't know if I'm comfortable with this yet. Anyway, that's an existential crash out for a different time. But like in the younger realm, and when I say younger, I'm talking about like 20s, right?
Yeah,
Like t-shirts are huge. The band shirts, the merchant stuff is really really big. Once you get into the 30s and stuff, nobody cares about stickers. What are you gonna put a sticker on your laptop like you're 21? All due respect, anyone who's 21, stickers on their laptops, right? But
interesting.
sensibilities change, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
one of
yeah,
the things
yeah,
I was talking to you about with respect to the older crowd is like t-shirts, maybe not, but what about like a sweatpant with like a
yeah,
badge logo, kind of on
yeah,
like the left thigh. Yeah,
yeah.
stuff that you would wear at the cottage. It's not loud, but the quality of the fabric is there, right? Like
Good
you put
point.
it on because it's good. It feels good and it looks good. And it's not a big, you know, 46 square inches on your chest. It's a little more understated. And that's something you got to think about, right?
That's actually, and when we catch up at the end there, actually, I just got an idea sitting right here. You inspired me. But this is great information, because I'm sure there's all kinds of artists out there struggling, and figuring things out. I know there's um, uh, Maggie's Wake. She actually knits
Okay.
socks and mitts and stuff like that, and customizes them.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we've toyed
handmade.
with all kinds of stuff. Like one thing that we do is we just get cheapo kind of paper coasters, and
Oh
we
yeah.
got a friend of Nim's to make I suppose a lino cut type
Yeah.
stamp.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And so we take that, we stamp the band kind of badge on the front. We got a QR code stamp made, and we stamp that on the back, and we give it to the venues when we go out. They distribute them as coasters while like throughout the night. And it's a little thing. It's really, really cheap after the initial costs of
Yeah.
getting the stamps made. And the most important thing I would say to people is like, you got to call it out, right? I see a lot of bands with merch at the table and they don't mention it once, right? And it feels gross, right? It feels so
It
gross.
does. I
You have to
agree.
get
I
over
agree.
it a little bit. If it's
Yeah.
something that you want to prioritize, you got to get over a
Yeah.
little bit in every third song, right? First
Yeah.
table's over there. T-shirts are
Yeah.
$25.
So on and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's Well, there you go, folks. Basil here's got some good ideas, and he'd be a great guy to consult with on your next merch order and
They're
see what he can
ideas. I
find
don't
out.
know about the quality, but
That's very cool. Do you have any kind of a background in design or anything like that, or is that one of somebody else on your team?
no, not at all.
Yeah.
That is in part, so I should say this. We don't do any design work. We're only just now starting to do a little bit of the software stuff because it's necessary
Right.
for the laser cutter.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I'm figuring out Inkscape and all of that. I've done plenty of media, right? I was a multimedia journalist for a brief time. So it's not outside the realm. It's just one of those liabilities, you know. As soon
One
as
more
someone
thing we're
gives
going
you
to
the
offer.
file and says, "Hey, do something with this," now you're on the hook. So
Yeah, exactly.
right now, we take what you got, we print it, we make sure that all the quality is there and everything's going to look as good as it possibly can. Um, but yeah, design work is something we very intentionally kind of left off the table.
Love it. Love it. Excellent. Outstanding. So, and there's the other thing with merch too. And have you discovered any of that maybe in any areas in Ottawa venues as far as merch cuts go? I haven't. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it happen.
Nothing that I've played in Ottawa or the surrounding area has ever done anything with respect to that.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm sure, in part due to the fact that we have like a very good community here and everybody understands that, the door is often not enough when you're splitting it between three bands that have three people each or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So no experience on my end with merch cuts aside from some stuff that we did for an artist that worked with Blues Fest and that sort of thing, where they actually set your minimum sale price for you.
Jeez. They want to
Well,
make sure they get there.
you can't be undercutting these bigger acts that are selling shirts for $50, and so
Oh,
when
here.
unnamed artists, because let's keep that
Let's,
heat off of my hands, comes through, and they sell for frankly an obscene price, because that's what we're seeing with merch prices lately.
yeah,
They
no
tell
kidding.
every smaller artist, well, you've got to be at this price point. You don't have the option to set your prices here.
Yeah, exactly. That's very cool. Yeah, it's a strange world that it's turned into. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. So as far as the songwriting goes, are you a solo songwriter or do you like to co-write with people?
I haven't done many co-writes. I've taken a crack at it here and there with just, friends and bandmates and that sort of thing. But I am neither disciplined nor an artist enough to sit down and say, okay, these are my 2 hours and we're going to crank out 2 songs or one song or whatever it is and, work with somebody in that way. It's always just been, I wrote poetry when I was a kid. I wrote short stories when I was a kid. So there's something in me that I need to get out for some reason. And so a lot of the stuff is incidental, frankly. I'm not sitting down and really working on songwriting. I write them because I have to, which might be the most pretentious thing I've ever said. But yeah, not much of a co-write guy just now. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but right now that's not the process.
Sure. Now, I notice you don't operate with a website.
The merch company, no, the merch company is all Instagram.
Yeah, but
I
even
do
the
have
music part?
my personal website that has, a contact form for booking lessons and that sort of stuff. And there's
Gotcha.
links to all the music on there just to prove that I can technically do it and therefore should be able to show somebody something. But yeah, the merch company is fully Instagram and there is the personal website with some stuff on it. But
Well, that's cool. I've seen a lot of artists take the different route from not having a website and now and just working out the socials because they find a lot of people just don't go to websites a lot, I guess, anymore.
Yeah,
Unless
right.
it's
I mean,
specific.
so is that something that you've transitioned on? Like, have you jumped ship on the personal website thing? Well, no, you
Nah.
do a Substack, right? You have the
Yeah, I have a Substack, and that's for this show.
yeah.
And, and that's where I critique the music business. And, but there's this, and then, no, I still have, Brian T. Music is still out there. So it's, uh, I just can't get away from it. You know what I mean? Maybe someday. It took me the longest time to get rid of my landline too. So
Right.
yeah,
So you wouldn't call yourself a digital native then? You're still
I
holding
am
on to
not an
the
early adopter of anything. You
yeah.
know what I mean? It there was Subvert World is the new
Yes.
distribution platform, or at least
Yep.
direct sales. And I got in on that, and I got in on the ground floor, and I was like, oh man, that's weird. I never usually get in on anything.
Hey, progress is progress, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
about
I'm
it.
actually I'm like currently in limbo with that because they're saying I can't remember what the payment platform that they require you to have is, but I just never got around to setting it up and I didn't have it beforehand. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the not early adopter thing for you is that a skepticism or is that a nervousness or what that holding back for you? What's
Got
that?
burned. Got burned a few times.
Oh yeah, on what?
Well, I can't remember specifically, but
Right, yeah, okay.
and I don't think I lost a lot of. No, there wasn't any kind of financial loss, but it was a case of websites promising we can do this, 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 and this, and this, and then you go on there and say, yeah, that'll work. Because I was a photographer for 26 years, and
Okay.
trust me, when you're into photography, it's like being in the music business. There's always somebody trying to sell you a system that will get you to the top.
Right, yeah.
And that's probably where I probably got burned before in that respect.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
And then go from there. You're a session player too.
Here and there, yeah.
Yeah. Not
Yeah,
a
so I've
lot
done
of.
some I did some lap steel work on somebody's album a couple of years ago. I effectively Honest Racket, the band, was basically a backup band for a friend of ours, Kevin Schofield, the Tennessee Cree when he played City Folk a couple of years ago there. So yeah, I
Mhm.
dabble here and there.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. So what's next coming for you, Basil? What's album, singles? You name it. Let's hear about it.
Honestly, at this point, I'm taking my 3-day weekend from teaching in the summer. So I
Okay.
move my Sunday students into my Monday to Thursday, and I take the closest thing to a vacation I ever get. We've got a few things coming up with respect to making some merch for Desert Island Big Band, who is just the coolest, weirdest.
I saw
Folks
those
in
guys on
town.
your yeah. I saw that on your on the 613 merch Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then Stefan, I will not try and pronounce his last name. Actually, I will. I would like to pretend it's Eurowitz. I'm sure there's a turn on a vowel or a consonant in there that I'm missing. But we
Gotcha.
are in part working with him in trade. So, we're only charging him parts and labor, and he'll be shooting some stuff and recording some stuff for us, Racket, in the fall. We did the same thing with them, I believe it was last year, and he ended up producing the video for Mother's Ghost, which is one of our songs that's out. And so that should be a fun
I
time.
listened to that one. That was a good one.
I do very recently, same guy, Stefan, Kick Me Records. He released a sort of live off the floor, one take video with a little interview for a song of mine called Aging Punks, about how all of the aging punks moved to Montreal. And that's
Is that
that's
where
my
they are?
well, I mean, they're not around Ottawa anymore,
Ugh.
aside from me. So who knows? So all
Gotta
that
love
is
it.
out. You can find that. 613 merch is always a good thing to check out. I got to figure out this laser cutter, but other than that, I'm gonna kind of
Sounds like-
off
sounds
into the
like
bush
fun.
for the weekend, and
There you go.
that's where I'll be spending my summers.
Good stuff. Gotta love it. Basil, tell folks where they can find out about you and what you do and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So 613 merch on Instagram in the event that you need anything made. If you're in the Ottawa area, it's all just come pick it up. We can certainly ship. We've done it before. We'll do it again. You can find my personal website at basilparkmusic.com. I believe basilpark.ca also points to the same website. So that is there in the event that you want to find any of my actual music and recordings, or book yourself a lesson for, guitar, bass, drums, ukulele, piano. I didn't have to count my fingers that time. Outside of that, Honest Rack is going to be back to rehearsing in the fall. And you can find us anywhere where we are.
There you go. Gotta love it. Well, basilparksmusic.ca does not go there.
Oh, I don't know my own website. Basilpark.ca. So that would be basilparkmusic.com or basilpark.ca.
There we go. We got everybody fixed up. All right. Gotta love it. All right. Basil, thank you so much for coming on the program. It was great fun chatting, and I wish you all the greatest success, and hopefully you'll see my butt somewhere around the Ottawa Valley sometime in 2027. I'm hoping so.
No problem at all. Well, thanks for having me. And if you want to put something together at any point, you give me a shout. We'll find a little room and do a sad bearded singer-songwriter night.
Oh, gotta love
one of
it.
these days.
Thank you.
Thank you.